This is the Realty Classroom Podcast, episode number 123, Understanding How to Convert More Clients. Are you a real estate agent with an entrepreneurial spirit who wants to turn your job into a business without sacrificing your lifestyle, but you just can't seem to find the right plan or any plan to help you get there? Well, then, hey, you are definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Realty Classroom and the host of this podcast. Now, to help you take immediate action to get started in the right direction if you're new, or get moving in a more positive strategic direction if you're a veteran and you've been around for a while, I have a basic core wireframe for you, and it's a course sitting over at freeagentgift.com. freeagentgift.com. The most important piece is a simple one-page download that outlines how this business works so that when you take the time to work on it, like listening to this podcast, you have a frame of reference so that you are actually building a business and not idea hunting and pecking, okay? All right, let's get started. Understanding how to convert more clients. And for those of you that are new to the business, clearly marketing and finding people and this concept of leads it dominates the conversation. But you really have to get up above it and say, look, leads are actually everywhere. Really, think about this. Housing is an enormous issue all the time for a lot of people. Food, air, water, shelter. That's what it is. And we lose perspective there. So we don't think of it as such, but it is shelter, and it is what we need to pay attention to so that we understand we don't have a lead scarcity. Just look at how many sales happen all the time in up and down markets. When things crash, people have to move. They have to get out of the house. They can't afford it anymore. And the opportunists come in. They can get lower interest rates. They can get lower prices. So there's always movement in the shelter business, and that's what we're in. So understand that there's always an opportunity to find a conversation with a contact who has a disposition of lead, meaning you don't really know their true timing and motivation until you get into this concept of conversion. See, in my world, and over at freeagentgift.com, that's what you'll see in that download, where you'll see conversion as a second module. So you have marketing that leads to these contacts that go into this conversion module where you move them through the disposition of lead. You don't know much about their timing and motivation, to prospect, where you've made an offer of service combined with information and they've accepted it and they enter into the beginnings of a relationship. But this podcast today is how to really turn that corner from a prospect that you're serving to a real client. Somebody who is dedicated to working with you. Pretty easy on the sell side because they've signed a listing contract if you're effective. On the buy side, we live in a world where some of you are out there using buyer-client contracts. I don't. I believe more so in that relationship of trust. You are either with me or you are not. I am not going to lock you into that buy-side contract, but I coach a lot of people that do, and they still like it. But they get caught up in this belief that somehow that guarantees them loyalty. And it doesn't. What guarantees you loyalty is converting the relationship through service and information that's relevant to those people that makes them afraid to go elsewhere. Keep that in mind. So the first point here on understanding how to convert more clients starts with that understanding, lead to prospect to client. So we're in this prospect to client. But the first point is you have to know why you. The concept of why you. Why should they do business with you above and beyond all other real estate agent options, including doing nothing at all? That's really the base definition of a unique selling proposition. A unique selling proposition, which is a term that was coined, I think, many years ago down on Madison Avenue in New York with some of the great marketers of the time that were trying to come up with this unique selling proposition. Why should somebody do business with you above and beyond all other options? And the biggest competitor is their own apathy, not doing anything. So you have to come up with an answer to that. And then when you have that answer, you have to believe it and be able to back it up authentically. Let me explain this. In my history, being taught and learning all about this industry, I have seen people come up with what I would now term a gimmicky headline that gets passed off as a unique selling proposition. I'm not saying that things like a guaranteed sale or whatever you might be offering aren't effective as campaigns. They are. When you read the details of some sort of a campaign that has a big statement attached to it, as long as it's legitimate, even if it has an outside chance, they can be very effective if somebody comes along and meets the criteria. But that's not a good and solid way to present your business to the public at all, because it's not universally appealing. And you need to have something that's universally appealing and unique as perceived by these sellers, buyers, and if you're recruiting, agents. You have to have something universally appealing and unique. You hear what I'm saying now? Because in a broader base, let's think about this. Watch, let me prove this to be true. Globally for your business, and you can look around, and it's really, by the way, this is not easy. I've been doing this for a long time, and it wasn't easy for me to understand how to do it universally and still be unique. And you're going to be amazed that mastering the obvious was the answer. So when you look at all of that and you think about your business cannot survive in the real estate agency world unless you have sellers. They're primary. Buyers, they're also very important, but still secondary when you're trying to build the business. You need to control some inventory so that you can even use that inventory to attract more buyers and more sellers. Believe me, trust me. I know you'll try to explain me away, and I say it all the time. I wish somebody kicked me and said, don't do that. It's a listings business. That's the way it works. Look in MLS. What do you see? You don't see a conglomeration of buyer names. You see a conglomeration of listings and seller names. Okay? Just a fact. Can't get away from it. So when you look at that and you think to yourself, so let's start with sellers. What could I offer a seller that is universally appealing to any seller, but yet is very unique in the way that I do it? Well, when you look at this industry, one of the reasons my unique selling proposition to you as just a listener, a subscriber, a viewer, whatever you might be, is that I have a plan for you. I have a plan for you. Why should I listen to your podcast? Because I have a plan for you. And I believe it deeply. You can hear it. I'm passionate about that word plan. I have a plan for you. And why? Well, it's deep rooted in my history. When I first got into this business, I had some big business experience in the world of finance. I had been on the analytical side of it. We were studying companies in the specialty chemical industry. I was the junior analyst or the analyst assistant. I was learning how businesses worked, and I could see that the ones that were the best had a plan. And it wasn't rocket science. It wasn't like they had some esoteric secret formula. I mean, some businesses definitely have that. Something like a Coca-Cola, the magic formula. Exactly how do they make it taste that way? Sure, I get it. But there's nothing unique about filling a can with soda and selling it. Follow me? So I looked at this business when I first came in, and I went looking for a plan because I had seen between big company analysis, and then I worked for a venture capital company where we were talking to small businesses, and every single one of the companies that did the best had a plan. And I'm not saying it was a big, deep plan. In fact, to this day, if you want to go pitch yourself to money folks, angel investors, equity funds, whatever, they're going to say, what is your business plan? Because they need to see that you have a direction, that you're not doing it by the seat of your pants because they know you'll squander their money. Simple. None of this is rocket science, okay? So when you look at that, now you say, all right, I got it. So are you trying to suggest, Danny Griffin, that a plan can be universally appealing and unique? I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes, and I'm saying yes. I know I didn't believe it either in the beginning because doesn't everybody have a plan, we sort of say, and well, I do have a plan. Well, really? How quickly can you articulate your plan to a seller, to a buyer, and if you're a recruiter, to an agent? How quickly? Can you really pass the quote unquote elevator test? Can you really get on the 10th floor and take an elevator down and explain to somebody, because I have a plan? And in that plan, I'm going to show you the order of things, from pricing, how you improve it with your reconditioning, and then setting the space with staging. Then and only then can we hit marketing, which has a couple of beats: memorialization, syndication, and then push marketing. That will lead to market making or communication, where buyers and buyers or agents are giving feedback. And then we'll use the same math we did to price it right, to negotiate. And we close with care by crossing T's, dotting I's, and making sure we handle any problems and making the transition smooth. Boom, door opens. See what I mean? If you can't do that right now, you need to learn how to do that if you want to convert more people to clients. Because when somebody hears that, they feel my deep belief. They understand my professionalism. And all of that magnetizes somebody to come into my world and at least want to know more. Interesting. Can you come over my house and tell me a little bit more about that and what you would do as it relates to my house? Absolutely. And that's the next step. That's the customization. Okay. So the second point here in this podcast today is what I would tell you is to recognize, again, just logic, recognize that face-to-face is best. When you can get face-to-face with a buyer, a seller, or again, if you're a recruiter and you're looking at agents, the best conversion to a client is face-to-face. I hope all you millennials hear me loudly and clearly. Your delusion that somehow anytime soon conversion over text, over email, and I get it. We've gone through a pandemic now, or in the thick of it, and now Zoom has become a real thing. Well, that's pretty close, and maybe it will replace the volume of face-to-face, but there's nothing like being in a room with somebody when you are trying to convert them to a client. Nothing beats it. It's why to this very day, and again, I'm a practitioner. I'm not a preacher before I'm a practitioner. I do this every day in the field, so I know what to teach you. I know what works. I know what doesn't. I don't lie. I don't do one thing and then coach a different thing. I actually say, look, when I am face-to-face with a seller, I go through that plan, looking at their house and customizing my advice against the plan for their property. And then their mindset. Where are you at? What on a scale of 1 to 10? How motivated are you? You're not a 10? Why not? Then don't do this yet. Get there. So this is exactly what I do. But when you're face to face, what I said in the first point, they see my deep belief. They see and feel my confidence in this plan. And again, because it's universal and it's not rocket science, I can give it to them and say, look, read it with or without me. What you're getting with me are the thousands of hours of distinctions I have made, which really builds this intuitive feel for the business where I can anticipate problems well in advance of many other people, yes. But the plan itself is 5th grade ready so that you can be empowered through your understanding. Even if you decide to use somebody else, please consider this plan. Well, that's very, very powerful when you say these words with that confidence and you have zero attachment to the outcome. In other words, yes, of course I want the listing. Of course I want to convert the buyer. Of course I do. I'm not being ridiculous here, but I'm saying my deep belief that, please, I want to make this business at least better. You have to consider this plan. I care about you. I care about your shelter. I care that you get from here to there, downsizing, upsizing, bailing out, going to the house of your dreams, whatever your situation is. I want to communicate that against a plan. I don't want to just be a passionate guy in the house. I've done that. It's not as effective. I'm not helping people at the highest level if we just go in and connect. Oh, I had a great meeting. Then scratching my head. Why didn't I get the listing? Because I didn't make it clear that I had a plan that I was following that gave them the best chance to win. Let that sink in. So recognizing that face-to-face works best, and then I work backwards from there. Well, what the heck does that mean? Well, then I can consider if the ultimate is to get face-to-face with people, but yet that's not really scalable. So you see, in the mastermind this week, we're working on video sales letters that articulate why us and articulate the value of a plan. So we're working on a video sales letter because that is scalable. We can get that in front of more people that are considering selling rather than just wait for the face-to-face. So from an outbound telemarketing call, which is an aggressive outbound, hey, we have a plan, we'd like to get it in your hands. Oh, by the way, if you're thinking about selling real soon, why don't we upgrade you and have Danny come and add his insights? See what I'm saying? It becomes boom, boom. Everything's a rhythm in my business right now. And when we break that rhythm, we know we have a problem. So we always start with face-to-face. What's next best? Telephone or Zoom? Or really telephone to a Zoom, to a meeting, something like that in that order. But we still have all this digital power now. See, so what I'm telling you is don't run to digital first before you consider how you're going to get face-to-face. And if you stumble into somebody right now at a soccer game, at a yoga class, at a social meeting, a friend, whatever it might be, you need to be prepared. Why you? And if you can be face-to-face, you need to articulate it so that you set up this other stuff. Now, a lot of people will go and vet you. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you can see more at my website if you go here and you listen to me talk about it. And I can also send you out a copy of the plan. See, a lot of people, when they first start in this business too, they don't consider that. Nobody really teaches this. Everybody says, well, get a list of this and tell everybody you're in it. Okay, great. And then do what? Because your friends and your family have no context for you as a professional. So sure, you can bug them all, but if you don't bring them some professionalism, hey, here's how the market's really doing. Oh, really? You have a friend that's thinking about selling? Wonderful. I have a plan for her. Do you mind if I send it to her? Do you mind if I call her? Would you ask permission if I can do so? See, that's how this really works. So we're working backwards. So when we work backwards, I can send you to a video. You can watch it. When you're at the video, you can order a hard copy of it. I can email you a copy of it. I can text you some information. You see, I'm working backwards to look at all of those other mediums for the distribution of this same planned out message. I can use all of those things to support it. Yes, they can be the portal, the direct entry. You can come through those doors to get it, first. But the crazy thing in coaching right now is there's no exact way people come to us. Some of them stumble into us from SEO, search engine optimization, because you do a good job on your blog or your vlog. Sure. Some people are referred in. Sure. Some people because you provoke them through a telemarketing call. So the core of conversion is more so sticking to what makes you unique so that everywhere and anywhere they get to you, it's easy to find more. That's what I think a lot of people have lost about this value ladder. You can do all sorts of things, vlogging, blogging, etc. But if you don't consider that every piece or every post or whatever you do doesn't give them an easy next step. The best is pick up the phone and call me. I know, right? Pick up the phone and call me. If you're ready right now to sell, you can call now, or you can go digital and visit me and listen to me talk about it. And you can order a copy of the plan. So you see, face-to-face is still what I'm after. Because once we send that out, hey, want to make sure you got it. I did. Well, I was curious. Sounds like a beautiful house, or sounds like you're thinking about selling your house. Were you thinking about doing that now or in the near future? Yes, I am. Really? Why? Well, I have a job change and I got to get out there, and if I don't, I'm going to have a problem. Well, you know what I could do is I could come over face to face and I could go over that plan that I just sent you, and I can tell you what to do and what not to do to be prepared to get the top dollar in the least amount of time so you can stop being so stressed. It's no obligation. It's free, sure. But I'd be happy to do that. See what I'm saying? It all just becomes more logical. Instead of just learning these techniques and tactics to get on the phone and neuro-linguistic program and all this, don't get me wrong, triggers work. We are predictably irrational, as the title of the book says. We are predictably irrational. So it seems like people make these irrational decisions. Okay, good. Then let's deal with that. If I need to use authority when I tell you this plan matters to you, I'm going to use it. And if I need to use the law of reciprocity, it's free. You don't need to give me anything back. It's a gift. Okay, great. Then I'm going to use those techniques. However, authentically and genuinely, I believe deeply that this matters to them, because it does. Because it's what I do to help people get successfully sold or buy a house at a good number. The next thing, I talked about it a little bit, but once you understand all this and you want to go digital, so now we're all face-to-face, and you really get that down. Okay, I get it. When I get face-to-face, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whatever it is that you're going to say about your planned way of taking them A to Z through selling and buying, or how you're going to help an agent build a business. Same thing. We have a plan for agents in our brokerage too. And this is, by the way, the whole Realty Classroom is built off of that. You can start with the free plan right now. freeagentgift.com. You get it. But a lot of people will want to vet you. They will want to get to know you a little bit better. That's the power of a podcast. This one's voice. It's also posted all over social as a video as I record this. So if you hear my content and you want to go to the next level as a seller, I need to have that. So I'm sitting here right now writing through this video sales letter that is actually just simply what I would go through close enough face to face. I'm not going to divulge deeply into the plan and confuse them. I'm just going to tell them the value of it, and I'm going to give them an offer to get a copy of it. That's it. So you need to produce an easy to access video version of your face-to-face elevator pitch, right? That's what you need to do. I mean, if you know what you're going to say face-to-face that makes you universally appealing to sellers, buyers, and agents, and you have a plan to do so, digitize it and make it an easy place to find. Now, a lot of you will struggle. I don't have a website. Yeah, well, YouTube's free. Okay, your YouTube channel's free. So you 1, 2, 3, and if you had nothing else on your YouTube channel other than, here's why, and again, let's just go buyers and sellers for now. So talking to the rookies will probably never recruit, but just sellers, here's what I got for you. Here's how you get it. Call me or email me. Simple. You know, people just always think that they're supposed to have all the most sophisticated tools and tricks in the book. And I say tricks, and I mean that in a positive way. Evolutions. No. Use what resources are available and free. Gmail's free. YouTube's free. Now your brain, your thinking is free. Order things. That's it. Okay? And lastly here is sort of more of a plea. Stick to the value of your plan, no matter how good your competition seems. See, we keep looking around at what everybody else is doing, and we don't continue to beat on our plan, offer it, use it, refine it based on the feedback from our own clients, our own marketplace. People, even if you're new and you just said, hey, tell me what you think about this plan. Ask me your questions here. You could take your plan, having never sold a house before, bring it to the internet, friends, family, your Facebook profile, your Instagram profile, wherever, and just have somebody give you feedback and keep refining it. See, I see a lot of people start looking around. Well, this brand has this. By the way, that's why a lot of you agents can't sit still. You're running from one brand to the next brand like that's the panacea. Come on. Just sit still and get organized, all right? So let me go back through this and say, if you want to convert more clients, here's how you have to understand how to do so. Number one, you have to know why you, and believe it deeply. As very simply put, you need a universally appealing and unique selling proposition, but make it simple. It's just a plan. Next, recognize always that there's nothing that replaces conversion from prospect to client better than a face-to-face. So recognize that. Be prepared to give this presentation of value face-to-face. Then go see what other medium, like digital, you can use. Speaking of digital, the third point was, once you get this down, memorialize it into a video. You need to produce an easy-to-access video version of your face-to-face elevator pitch. I did it again. Peach. I must be hungry. Pitch, he said, to get them to listen and want to take the next step if they are truly ready now or in the very near future. And lastly, stick to the plan and the value in the plan, no matter how good the competition seems. All right, let me summarize it this way. Any real estate agent looking to convert more clients must always be ready to offer a clear and concise plan that gives sellers and buyers a clear reason to become a client. Hey, remember, here I go again. You can take immediate action to get started in the right direction if you're new by having a copy of the plan of how this business works, so that when you hear these podcast episodes, you can look and say, okay, what is he talking about here today? A lot of the time it's marketing and conversion, because that's the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If that engine and those two pistons aren't firing, we have a problem. Okay, but you can get a copy of this plan. And by the way, for you top producers, humble yourself. I wish I had a long time ago. Get strategic. Stop idea hunting. Stop buying multiple websites that do the exact same things. Stop squirreling leads away, especially only on the buy side. You have to get your head up above the water, up above the clouds, and look down upon the whole assembly line. How does the business work? This plan gives you a one-page infographic that reminds you. So when you're making decisions, you make them against that. freeagentgift.com. Also, don't forget you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you might be listening. We try to post it as many of the main spots that we can, so we're easy to find. We also broadcast our live sales training calls on Facebook and YouTube every Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. So remember, if you just turn on your page and channel notifications, you'll be reminded, and you can just jump in there and eavesdrop on the tactical stuff. So we talk strategic here, but then we get tactical. We'll let you just kind of sit around the edges and hear what we say, see what it sounds like in its practical application. We'd also appreciate it if you would comment. Hey, comment. Let me know what's on your mind. I'll deal with those subjects too. And that way we don't have to read your mind. You read it aloud to us and you can ask for help. It's okay. That's what this is. It's a freebie from me. And this is really transparently just taking what I coach each week, chunking it up, giving it to everybody. So hopefully it's helpful. Hey, thanks for listening. But you have to remember what I always say in the podcast. Nobody is coming for you. So go get to work on your own business, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.